vegetarian dish. Now it can be vegetarian if you like. If you're going to do it vegetarian, don't use lard, use olive oil, and don't put the chorizo in it. But apart from that, it's a terrific dish. I loved it. I had it in Budapest when I was there and thought, oh, I'd like that, I must do it. Well, here I am, I'm doing it finally. Now, first of all, I'll just turn on my flame. I have sautéed this chorizo, which I have sliced in half. So I'll put that to the side. And I've got here, just have a look there, James. I've got about 3 or 4 very large, ripe tomatoes. So you only use tomatoes when they're in season for this. Otherwise, I'd use a can of diced tomatoes, but it's far better with the fresh. And to that, I then add a very good tablespoon of smoked paprika and 1 tablespoon of sugar. And so we'll just mix that up and just leave it. What will happen with that is the juices will be accentuated and come out of the tomatoes themselves. So when we make the sauce, which we do at the end using the tomatoes, you'll end up with a better flavour. That's my theory anyway. So just mix that in. Then a couple of tablespoons of lard. Hungarians love cooking with lard, they really do. To that I add 1 or so onions, which I have sliced fairly finely. And I'll turn this right down, because I just want these to be tender rather than brown. So just mix them up, put a lid on them, and we'll cook those 5-10 minutes. Now, as you can see, I've got brown and red onion there. I hate to waste things. I had half a red onion left over, so I used that. But that's nice and tender without being coloured. And to that we're going to add some red and green and yellow capsicum. I wanted orange too, but they didn't have any, so I've had to up the red. So there's 1 of each there. And you core, seed, and finely slice them. Just have a look. That's how I mean when I say finely slice. I want them, all the core and the seeds out of that. And we then just mix that in, cover it once again, and cook that until those capsicums are nice and tender. Once again, I would say 5-10 minutes. All right, those capsicums are looking quite good. Just have a look there. I don't want them, absolutely collapsing, but I do want them to be tender. And then, so you were saying, what's he doing with the tomatoes? Well, now the tomatoes go in. So there's quite a lot of that, as we know. Now, if the tomatoes weren't particularly juicy, but those ones look good, you'd always add a little bit of veggie stock. But I don't think it needs it. But I will add a little bit more salt, because there was only a small amount went in there when I marinated the tomatoes. Would you call that marinating? Putting the paprika in and sugar in? I don't know whether marinate's quite the word. Now, we don't put the lid back on this time, because we want that juice to evaporate and cook down a bit. Looking good. Now, I'll do one other thing before I continue, or before I sit on my bum and wait for this to finish. Some sour cream, which I'm going to add at the beginning, or creme fraiche, whichever you like. And of course, being sour cream, it's quite solid. So what I will do is I will add the smallest amount of water. And as you can see, this stew, and you would call it a stew, is more than enough for 1 or 2 here. You'll have to invite some friends over, won't you? Because there's more than enough for 1 or 2. Anyway, just mix that up really well. You could add some flavourings to that, like some horseradish would be quite nice, wouldn't it? Yeah. Anyway, we'll just keep on mixing this. And as I said, we want those tomatoes to really collapse and to be fragrant and the whole thing to be thick. Now, just have a look at that, James, because I reckon that's looking bloody good. And to that we then add the chorizo, but just be a bit careful because you don't need all the oil from the chorizo, because I cooked it in a little bit of oil. And of course, when you cook the chorizo, oil comes out of it as well. So just be a little careful. You can drain it through a sieve if you want. Too late because I didn't do that. And just mix that in. We're then going to, because I got excited when we were talking about adding some paprika to the sour cream. I got all excited. I thought, what a good idea. Just gives it a little bit of bite. And we'll grab a bowl. Sprinkle some of the sour cream And I'd serve some extra sour cream on the side, some parsley on the top. I reckon that looks bloody good. Now, to serve with it, I suppose if I was being authentic, maybe a bull's blood, which is the famous Hungarian red wine, but I couldn't find any of that, so what I've got to go with this, what have I got? A Tempranillo, a Rioja from Spain. All right, a nice dish.
Guys, to show your support for my channel and to keep in the loop, subscribe. It's easy to do, and don't forget, it's free. Okay, cheers.